Oh, usually I party with 100, people. So this was hard for me. I was like, man, what am I going to do? But that's what 2020 was, right? Just crazy in so many ways. But like it seemed like there's a quote that you just quoted, and I love this quote now, this year, for the next few days. Hindsight is 2020, and I'm so happy that 2020 is behind us. Let's just forget 2020. Let's talk only about 2021. And I'm so excited about today. I mean, this is when people are making resolutions and goals and taking that pause and saying, what do I want to do next year? Jamie, I'm so super excited. Means
I
how, how many? 170 people?
170.
Wow, 170 of you Iowans have decided they want to make goals. They want to make goals with us through Iowa Diabetes goal setting tool. And then we are delighted. We are looking forward to the 6 week challenge of helping all of us achieve our goals. So exciting. I'm excited. Go ahead.
It is 1 o'clock, and as just quick reminders, say hi to us as you're coming in. We want to say hello and welcome you to the group. We love interacting with you guys. It's why we're here. You guys bring us so much energy. We don't care if we go off topic. But it is 1 o'clock, Dr. B. So if you want to get
All
started,
right. Well, good afternoon. Happy New Year to everyone. Alden, hello. Thank you all for being here. We are excited that you're joining us. Here's the thing, all of us make goals, right? So many of you have made goals with us this year. We're excited. But did you know that only 7%, 1 out of 14 people, keeps that goal till the end of the year? That's not acceptable, and that's going to change, and that's going to change right here. We at Iowa Diabetes are out to change diabetes, and we are delighted that you all have planned to join us and are going to work with us over the next 6 weeks to make some really good resolutions, and not just make resolutions for the purpose of it, but make resolutions stick. We'll make resolutions that will stick, and that's the goal. And we, our team of 560 members, is here to assist you over the next 6 weeks. Let's change your diabetes together. That's the goal. Let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Bhargava, or Dr. B, endocrinologist in diabetes for last 25 years. Just that's all I think about, pretty much. And I've been very lucky to be part of research. Iowa Diabetes Research has done more than 100 diabetes trials. Iowa Diabetes Portal with thousands of users. Iowa Diabetes Care that we just started. So lots of different things. But the main thing we want to do today is talk about what you are going to get out of the next 30 minutes. So today we'll talk about numbers that matter, the ABCs of diabetes, and we'll talk about what these numbers are. We'll talk about how to set SMART goals for the new year, S.M.A.R.T, and we'll explain that it's just not a mnemonic. It really does help. And then toward the end, we'll talk about 5 ways to keep your resolution. Now, here's the thing. We'll also share with you today the goal setting tool results. So many of you have made these goals. And by the way, keep making them. The goals you can make till the 11th. So today, apart from achieving all these objectives, we'll also share with you what all our community has put together. And then we'll show over next 6 weeks, we'll help you follow those. Now, I'm not going to do this alone, and you are not going to do this alone. All of us are going to be doing it together. All 170 of you and our team will work together to make sure this time we make resolutions that will stick and truly change your diabetes in a meaningful way. Now, to get help with this and ample help with this, I'll invite Dr. Jamie Pitlick. She's a pharmacist, very passionate about diabetes, our co-founder of Iowa Diabetes Care, and also heading Portal University. The work you will see today and over the next 6 weeks is pretty much her work. So, Jamie, welcome to the show here.
thank you. Welcome to some return visitors. We've got Roxanne and Kathy with us again. Thanks for saying hi and stopping by from Dubuque. You're right, 170 people. I was floored when we saw that result today. That was amazing. Just to explain a little bit of the challenge details, we've got this 6 week challenge. It's going to be 7 different Facebook Lives, and every week we're going to have you do an activity to stay engaged with us. All of these activities are around living a healthier life and getting you more engaged in taking care of your diabetes. So there are prizes for almost everything that you're doing. So if you complete every single week's challenge, it's $50 through Amazon. If you do the majority, which is around 3+ of these, it's going to be $20 through Amazon. And if you do just one, it's 5. So if you're a part of our Iowans with Diabetes and you've already filled out the survey, you've already got your prize set for you. Now it's just earning more points so that you can get to the prizes at the end. So hopefully you're filled out the survey and just being a part of our Facebook group. So we are a Facebook group. We are a community, and we are all here to help you guys together. So even with the challenges, there could be questions that come up. You guys can respond to each other. We will definitely respond and give you our opinions and some of our help. But if you've got something that's worked for you, maybe it's not something that I've ever thought of before. So reach out and talk to each other. That's what we're here for. We're super excited for this 6-week challenge.
And I think, Jamie, I'll say this, the social part of all this is so important. When you make goals and you set the right goals, let's work together. Let's make everyone successful. Let's not be at 7%. Let's be at 80%. When
Yeah.
we finish the year, let's surprise everyone. So I'm just excited.
The last little bit thing that I have to show you is, as we're kind of looking back at 2020. And this is a video of a comedian that went viral a couple months ago as she looked back at her 2020 goals and what they were. And after the pandemic happened, how silly some of them became. So it's just a quick little video that we found for you guys.
Found my goal list that I made in December for my goals for 2020. Okay, tell me if this is not hilarious. All right, goal 1, make more money. I was, been unemployed since March. Travel more. Lose weight. Be more social. I wrote cry less. Cry less. Cry less. I've cried every single day of this whole pandemic.
And then she just goes on. I just found this whole video just funny as we reflect back to 2020 and some of the goals that you definitely can't do, like spend time with friends. Now we can't. So we want to hear what your 2020 goals were that maybe didn't work out because of many different situations, or
Yeah,
even
so
those
please
goals.
type in your goals,
Yeah.
and would be happy to hear what you made last year. What did you do in 2020? And Jamie, this video I also really not just enjoyed, but it's like sometimes you just have to laugh at it. Things
Yeah.
can become so stressful. Like one of the goals is how to reduce stress. Means at the end of the day, she did reduce our stress. So um, Casey had a goal of travel. Well, we understand that that may not have gone as far, but please type in your goal, and Jamie, back to you.
We also want to know, and you can type this in the comments, were you able to keep your 2020 resolution? So if you're not willing to share with us, that's completely fine, exactly what it was. But were you able to keep it? And you can just let us know. Not at all. I made it a week, made it a month, halfway, or you were a rock star and lasted all year. Let us know what happened.
Casey says not at all. I reviewed my resolutions, and I did okay, but most of them were more fun and uh, on the professional side. But yeah, the year did was challenging to keep goals.
Yeah, it was challenging. And my personal was, trying to work out more, and I was able to do it for the most part. Had to adjust how I was working out. Carla, that's awesome. You were able to make it 3 months into COVID. So that's good.
Jean and Jody, you are not alone at all. I mean, when you say not at all, that's okay. You made a resolution, you started, but know that this year it'll be different. We are here to assist in any way we can.
Okay.
All right, so let's begin with the ABCs of diabetes. And the reason I wanted to bring it up is just to keep this in mind. Today we'll talk about these numbers because these numbers, if well controlled, will make your diabetes better, will improve your health, and will reduce the risk of heart attacks and strokes. That's why these numbers are so super important. A for A1C, which is the blood test you guys get every 3 to 6 months. And it tells you about your control for about last 90 days. The way it works is that the hemoglobin in the red blood cells, sugar attaches to it over time. The span of a RBC is about 90 to 120 days. And hence, sugar keeps attaching. And when we take that hemoglobin out, we see what percentage of that is glycosylated. And that's what the A1C is. That's your most important number for diabetes, and typically checked every 3 to 6 months. So that's the A. The goal for the A is 7% according to American Diabetes Association, but it varies. It depends on many other factors, including one thing I'm going to talk about today a lot, which is risk, including your risk for heart attacks and strokes. So I had a patient a couple of days ago, and they were very focused on what do I do with my sugar. And I said, yes, we need to take care of your sugar. But here's the thing, you're my age, and I'm more worried about the fact about your heart attack and stroke risk. That's what I'm. So in the short run, I'll bring your sugars down, but I also am very mindful of your risk. And I have a gift for all of you. This is our Happy New Year gift, and maybe I'll talk about it right after the ABCs. We're launching something really cool that will tell you your risk for heart attack and stroke for the next 10 years. So let's go to B. B is the blood pressure, and it's a very important part of your diabetes management. The goal can either be 130 over 80 or 140 over 90, depending on what? Well, depending on your risk for heart attacks and strokes. If 10-year risk is below 15%, you can go 140 over 90. If it's above 15%, 130 over 80. Also, remember that when you measure, you got to track. One of the things I want to say at Iowa Diabetes Portal, you can track all of these things. The A1C, of course, then your blood pressure. And if we have certain machines that automatically upload the blood pressure, we have some Nokia machines that can take the blood pressure directly. Omron is my favorite for if you want to have a blood pressure machine at home. Get one with a Bluetooth. That definitely helps. And then we can move to the C, the cholesterol. And this is the other big one that affects your risk for heart attacks and strokes. It has many things inside it. LDL should be low. The lousy cholesterol, or LDL, should be low, right? Less than 100 in general, but less than 70 if you have multiple risk factors, if you have high risk for heart attacks and strokes, or you already had heart attacks and strokes. Your HDL, the happy cholesterol, should be high, more than 40 in men, more than 50 in women. All of this, again, you can track at Iowa Diabetes Portal. If you are not a member, please join. That's another good news. Iowa Diabetes Portal was free just in central Iowa. This year, we are making it free to anybody in all of Iowa. So anybody in Iowa can join Iowa Diabetes Portal for free, and their fees will be waived. Cholesterol should be checked once every year. I think that's the ABC. Now, giving you all these numbers is not the purpose. Our purpose is to take it to the next step and say, hey, how are we going to have you achieve those? And you do that by what we call the DE and F and G. D for diet, E for exercise, and lastly, the FG is our Facebook group. Join our Facebook group, so we'll help you keep your resolutions and make these numbers better. So I spoke for a while. I'll let Jamie chime in at this point.
Yeah, I'm looking and I'm seeing some different goals that people are posting. Roxanne, I know you said you didn't really make resolutions, but you usually take cruises, and 2020 was not the year to take a cruise. So definitely something very relevant to the conversation. Vianne, thanks for joining in. Said you're trying to keep your goal of continuing your exercise. You're just doing it in a new way. And I think we've all had to adapt that way. I love that you found a new way to keep doing it, which was online. There's so many videos out there that are either low cost or free just to keep your bodies moving. We've got plenty of videos that we've done in the past couple of months to help out. One of my favorite promotions actually was when we worked with Jen Wagner, who is an exercise trainer in Des Moines, and she comes on all of these Facebook Lives. She did a 12-day of Christmas giveaway of all these exercise videos. And so we've linked different posts on our Facebook to these different giveaways. And they're 5-minute routines that you can do whenever. And they're awesome. Dennis, you've got a goal to keep sugars more in line and to stay safe. Both very good goals. So I love it. And then Jody, you're trying to lower A1C is what it looks like. So good. And we're going to talk, Dr. B, I know you always talk about the ABCDEFG soup. I know you covered the ABCs, but what are D and E?
Yeah, so D and E are just pillars of good diabetes management. Without these two, there's nothing me and Jamie can do. So D is for diet and E is for exercise, but I'm going to add another E, education. By the way, now I remember my DEF used to be diet, exercise, diet, education, and food. Just I'm all into these alphabets. But here's the thing: I mean, there's so much you can do, and I'll tell you just on the diet side, we've done many different things with Courtney, and you guys can go back to our Facebook groups. How to eat healthy, different ways, eating healthy during the winter, summer, during the holidays. On the exercise side, there's so many things that can be done. Remember the walking video and the walking pole thing we did, and again what we have done with Jen. So there are a lot of things out there that can be done. The trick is again to make something for you, something S.M.A.R.T, the SMART goal. And I think as you make these goals, I'm delighted that 170 of you have chosen our tool to make your goals, and it's our commitment to you that will help you throughout these 6 weeks. If you want support after that, we'll get to the end of the year.
Yeah.
So delighted. But Jamie, let's talk about these goals and tell me a little bit more the SMART and or whatever next you want to talk about.
Yeah, let me go on and ask a few questions because I want to know from the audience a little bit about whether or not you have actually been able to do and set the SMART goal survey that we sent out. So have you set a goal with us using our tool? If the majority have or have not, we'll do a demo. And if you have, we can actually show you guys some additional responses and really get into the details of some of the things that we're seeing as we look at it. So we're really excited as we started looking at this. My other question for you is, do you know or have you heard of SMART goals or S.M.A.R.T goals? And let us know about that, because I can also adjust how in detail I go in terms of that content too, based on what you guys are saying. So we'll pause there just for a little bit to let you guys answer those two things. And then the other thing that I was going to add, that actually I call her my communications guru. She came up with F and G today, Facebook group. So utilize your community to help you achieve your goals. Accountability is one thing that is key whenever you're trying to set your goals and make yourself accountable. Telling people and talking to other people about them makes them a little bit harder to cheat on, essentially. So I'm seeing some yeses that you guys have been setting the goals with us. So majority of yeses. And then some no's on maybe haven't heard of some of the SMART goals. So I will go into just a little bit of details about those. Let me flip to the right slide for you. So a SMART goal is an acronym for S.M.A.R.T. So S is going to be specific. So you've got to really hone in on what do you want to achieve with that action. It's got to be measurable, meaning you can't just say, I want to be good at this. I want to be good at soccer. What does it mean to be good at soccer? I want to score at least one goal a game. That is a little bit more measurable. It's got to be achievable or realistic. So, for example, if I'm not working out, if I'm not exercising at all, I'm doing 0 minutes per week, it's really hard for me to go and say, I want to do 5 or 6 hours per week. That might not be achievable or necessarily healthy to do. Relevant. So it's got to be relevant. So if your overall goal is to lower your A1C, you've got to do something that is within the realm of the diet, exercise, or managing your medications. So there was a lot of themes to the S.M.A.R.T tool that we sent out that all specifically will go to helping you lose weight, helping you exercise more, and ultimately bringing your sugars down and controlling those A1Cs. So there was a general theme for all of those. And then the last one, it's got to be timely. So you've got to have a time limit on that. So in the next 6 weeks, I am going to do this. And so all of your goals, whether it was laid out clearly or not, is really during this 6-week process. So in the next 6 weeks, I'm going to do this. And that's really what we want you to focus on. And then at the end of the 6 weeks, we're actually going to come back, look at your goals, and maybe reset and do another goal. And we'll send out some additional surveys at that point.
All right. So now I'm excited to share with you the tool that you use and some of the results. It's just exciting. And by the way, please keep your comments going and any questions you have as well. But let's walk through this. And this morning when we started, it was more like 160. And right now we are at 174. That's really cool. Again, please spread the word. There's so many of us who could use help. And remember, we are building this community with 174 of us plus our team. So let's say 180 people or more just working together to ensure that we set and achieve these goals. So I'm excited. Jamie, what do you see here? Question 1. What do you like? What do you get surprised by?
Yeah, I was not surprised by these. Number 1 and number 2, diet and exercise as your goals in the next 6 weeks. That does not surprise me. I think they're the number 1 and number 2 resolutions most years. So that was pretty clear. What about you? What took you by surprise?
Well, I think I was surprised by medication being so little, but I also was surprised, more importantly, by reducing stress level. And then I started thinking, I said, that does make sense, right? As a physician, I'm guilty of ignoring this, such an important part. And then this year, stress reduction is huge. So I think that was the big thing. Now, if we go further, look at nutrition, that question. What came out was consistency and habits. I think it's such a crucial thing. I chose mine. Mine was portion size. I'm a foodie. I just love food. So I just keep eating without thinking that my body only needs a certain part. And the gratification already comes in the first few bites, so as to say. But that was interesting to see that majority of the struggle is around consistency and habits. And there are many things that can be done. And Jamie, would you cover that in the tips, or you want to talk a little bit about how people can work with their consistency and habits?
We can talk a little bit here about that. And I personally am in the consistency category. I haven't taken my survey yet. I was planning on taking it live with you guys, but I probably won't have time to do that. But mine is about the consistency, but I'm also a foodie and need to watch my portion sizes. But if I track my food and make sure that I'm eating a balanced meal at that point, and I can control my portions that way. So I'm tackling a very similar issue that you were talking about, Dr. V, but kind of in a different manner. So to me, I was trying to do it through that portion. And I think consistency, or some of those tips are just setting yourself not only the goal, but what is your plan to achieve that goal? If you don't set out your steps on how are you actually going to achieve those goals, I think that's where you're setting yourself up for future problems. So what I mean is, mine was tracking. I made sure I had the right app, and I made sure I had some of the right foods that I'm looking towards eating in the house so that it's all ready to go. Carla, I think you said that you've got a goal of, increasing to about 10,000 steps by the end of week 6. I think that's a fantastic goal. You're at 5,000 now. What I want you to think about is, in the next 6 weeks, how are you going to make those incremental changes to get up to 10,000? Is it going to be, I'm going to go outside 10 extra minutes in week 1? And then week 2, I'm going to go outside and walk for 20 extra minutes. And it's something of that sort, whatever works for you.
So, Jamie, I'm realizing this is a fun topic and I'm being mindful of the time. There are a few things I need to do, just in terms of the context of diet and exercise. Give some tracking tools to people today. A lot of different goals. I just want to make sure people understand they can post things on the Facebook group and so forth. But there are a few things I want to show inside Iowa Diabetes Portal. First of all, the big news this year, we launched our 10-year cardiovascular risk score. Anybody can go in and put in their information and calculate this score. This score is very meaningful. Once you do it, take it to your doctor, and do talk about this and reducing your risk. Very simple and easy to do. I didn't put my real cholesterol numbers, but my risk based on this is about 1.36% in next 10 years. But my vascular age is a little bit higher. So I'm bummed about that today. But please use this. Just got launched today. Exciting, exciting news for us. The other thing I would say, like 10,000 steps, if you want to track, use an app or your smartphone. And then here's the thing we can do. You can connect your smartphone, MyFitnessPal, Fitbit, whatever those things are, to Iowa Diabetes Portal in a very easy way. And then you can see this data here, and then you can post your results on the Facebook group. On food, if you want to use a tracking app, the two we connect to, MyFitnessPal and Fitbit, you can use those as well. So our goal is also to provide you these tracking tools so that you can achieve these goals.
Mhm.
Whatever mechanism you use is fine. Our goal is to change diabetes, and we think we can together by putting everything in one place. So that's one example of a tool. Let's do this. I do want people to know the things you're going to teach us about how to keep resolutions. We could kind of talk all about this. It's very exciting to see all these numbers. I think this was fascinating when people talked about how to reduce stress. It was just nice to see the smattering of things. Hey, listening to music or reading or walking, and please do those things. I'm just happy to see some very achievable things. But I'll stop sharing this. And I think there's one last thing I want to show is right now when people rated them how well they're doing, the median is about 3, right? We want this curve. We'll share this curve at the end. I want to see this curve on the other side shifted. And that's what we'll help achieve together. So, Jamie, back to you. How are you going to help people in general? They've
Yeah.
made all these goals. What are some of the tips they can use?
So the first thing that is recommended, that I always recommend, and that I think I've seen in most places, is write it down. At least write it down for you. If it's not written down, it's not solidified and you won't achieve it. So write it down. I have my planner. I type it if you want. We had you guys typing it, but I've got monthly goals, and every month I sit down and I have my different goals that I'm writing. And I started doing this about a year ago, and it's really helped me keep my progression going. So, and that just makes me accountable, not only to myself. And then if you share it with others, you start sharing it, and then it's a group effort. So it's good. So use your Facebook group, use your F&G. If you don't want Facebook, use your family.
Yeah.
Just let them know what you're doing.
I had a
And
patient many years ago who exercised every day. I said, "What's your secret?" She says, I really have a great relationship with my sister. We both get on phone and we just bike together for the hour or 45 minutes they do. So
Yeah.
social is a very important part of this.
The other thing that I would say is keep them focused. So I'm not going to change my life overnight. If I try to tackle 20 different goals, it's not going to work out. So I'm going to tackle 1 or 2 goals at a time. If it's a really big goal that I'm working for, I might just choose one. If I'm doing a couple of small things that I think are really achievable in a small amount of time, I can tackle 2 or 3 goals. Otherwise, it's just one goal, one at a time. I used to work with a physician who, and I did a lot with smoking cessation. And he used to talk to people about, he and I would talk to people about stopping smoking, losing weight, and lowering their blood sugars. And he used to say it is almost impossible to do all three at one time. You've got to choose one of those, and then you tackle that one first, get it under control, and then you choose your second goal. So that's really the focus that I want you guys to do. Don't wait until the last minute. Like I said, you've got to plan for some of these things. Roxanne, I see that you set a goal to exercise 1 hour per week, not ridiculously low for the first quarter. So I will push you to achieve this, and it's an awesome goal in the first quarter. And then by the second quarter, we're going to be shooting for 2 hours a week, which is really close to the amount of exercise that's recommended for your heart for patients with diabetes. So I think that's awesome. We've got to start somewhere, and then you've got to make the plan for how are you going to do that exercise. What activities are you going to do? Is it going to be walking? Are you going to be stretching? Are you going to be doing videos? So you've really got to set yourself up in this next week so that you can achieve that hour. Dr. B, I know you've got some exercise tips and some planning tips. What are some things that you recommend to people to help them plan?
Well, where do I start? There's so many things I like to say, but I'll say some simple things. Change your environment, and you will be surprised what impact it has on your habits. So some of my patients who are not motivated to exercise, I just say, get up in the morning, just do one thing: get in your exercise clothes. I am not asking you to exercise, and then the rest will happen. Like if you want to eat better food, just buy smart. Break it at the weakest link. Don't buy those things. If they're here in on the kitchen counter, they're going to be eaten. So just buy smart. I think the social component is pretty important. You can wake me up anytime. Volleyball, yes, but to exercise on own, I have to motivate. So make your lifestyle, the changes that you make today, they should be enjoyable and pleasant. Really, you should get joy out of them. And
Mhm.
that's how they will last forever. One thing I would say is with the tool you have created, Jamie, it really checks a lot of those smart things plus these other things. We've tried to keep it very small. Of course, you can make more goals if you want, but in general, you will find that these goals may initially sound simple or small, but we're talking about the long run, the marathon. We're not doing a sprint. First the 6 weeks, then the 52 weeks. So shop outside aisle, Linda says. Now, what does that mean, Jamie?
I've heard that before. So at a grocery store, if you shop the outside aisles, that's the vegetables, the milk, the meats, it's all the less processed foods. And then in the aisles are your grains, your breads, and some of the chips and the snacks.
Thank you, Linda. That is awesome. Shop outside the aisles. All right. So I think we're getting closer here or about done with time. So Jamie, what else you want to cover? Have you given the 5 tips, all of
I've
them?
given the majority. We've
Okay.
already talked about doing small steps. And then the other thing is avoid your past failures. So if you have, and I would say plan for those past failures. For me, stress is a big one. Stress gets in my way all the time. So how am I going to avoid the stress that happens in my life? And some of what I've started doing is trying to turn off my brain starting around 8:30 after I put the kids to bed, and electronics go off, and I'm starting to read, which is one of the stress releasing activities on that survey. So I do think that there's different things that you have to plan for. There will be bumps, there will be ups and downs, and it's about the whole process. It's about the journey. So it's not giving up after your first little bump. It's getting back and doing it again.
Here's the thing. Have been trying to lose weight for a long time. And then last fall, Diwali came and then holidays came. And here's the thing I did wrong in that I stopped measuring my weight. And so here's one other thing I would say: whatever gets measured does improve, regardless. So here's the thing I would say: one other trick is just keep measuring. Don't get discouraged. Just keep measuring. Automatically, that will lead to improvement. So these are some of the tips, but there's so many more. So what's unfolding in the next 6 weeks? We're going to focus on each topic. We'll start with the biggest one next week: diet or nutrition. And we're inviting Courtney for that. Then exercises next, and we'll have guests for many of these. And that's the preview of the future. And Jamie, can you add more? And we'll talk about tips. We'll want you to share your success stories. What you do on Iowa Diabetes Facebook group is not just designed to win a challenge. It's really all about helping yourself, because
Mhm.
you're posting, then you become accountable, helping others. We'll have, if we want to be successful at this will be together. We'll have to do it together, and that togetherness will come from our Wednesday sessions and by what we do on the Facebook groups. And I'm willing to add another session for people who may not be able to join on Wednesdays. Maybe we'll send a survey on that to make sure if other people want to join different time. But Jamie, if you want to bring it home,
Yeah.
what is next?
What is next? Just reminding this week's challenge. If you haven't already, submit your goals via our survey. I think Casey's already put the link in the comments, and also join our Facebook group. You have to be a part of Iowans with Diabetes in order to post to our event. And that's going to be some of the things that we're doing over the next 6 weeks is we're going to have you guys posting within our group about things that you've done. So even if your goal is not diet related, next week, we want you to still join because we're going to be able to talk not only about diet, but also talk how it's going with my goal, how it's going with Dr. B's goal, and just talking about how the first week went in general. So again, next Wednesday on Wednesday at the exact same time, we're going to be having a session with Courtney that is diet. And we're going to be talking about, why do the majority of the diets fail out there and how can we help you make them succeed? So I think it's a great topic. I'm very passionate about making simple changes to your life that can stick. And I think that's going to be a theme that you see over and over as we're talking through this 6-week challenge.
Randy is talking about portion control. I think he wants us to talk about next time. And Randy, I'm with you. Portion control is my big problem. Well, let's do this. Jamie, what are your three big takeaways from today?
Um, they're off topic just a little bit. My big three are I am so excited. 170 plus people have responded to the survey and are willing to take on the challenge with us. That's number one. Number two, you can do it. Stick with the small changes, stick with the consistency, and don't let one small bump stop you. What about
Excellent.
you, Dr. B?
From my side, make changes that are pleasant and enjoyable. Get joy out of these changes. It should be something you would want to do. The other thing is, we are here to help. We'll get your ABCs in control through diet and exercise and the FNG, the Facebook group, or your family and friends. So there's a lot we can do together. Let's work together. Let's help you achieve your goals. Let's change diabetes together. Let's change your diabetes together. And I'll echo Jamie's sentiment about how excited we are about this journey over next 6 weeks. And please spread the word, bring more people in. The more energy there is, the more everybody will succeed. So thank you everyone for joining, and we will see you next Wednesday to tackle the monster of diet or nutrition. So thanks
Thanks,
everyone.
guys.
Happy New Year.